getting closer to where we are right now is just the biggest challenge of just making
I don't
content.
know. Because I'm honestly just a little bit disappointed in this episode, just a little bit, and because of that, I'm like, if we can get enough footage, I might try to do a bonus episode with you next week, just because I'm a little bit sold.
Oh, the photos real?
I know I can do better than this, but this is what I got. If we can get some real good footage this week or next week, I might try to do a bonus episode.
No, I feel you, man. I definitely feel you. I do feel you. Soup. Oh, soup. Wait a minute. Which account am I live streaming on? That's the question.
Well, I don't see you on your CD Visionary thing.
Wait a minute, YouTube done throws up on me. It is not on CD Visionary. Then, okay, it's not this one. Okay, so it should be Visionary. It should be. Yeah, yeah, it's Visionary. I would say refresh the page. It should definitely. Yeah, easy moderation. Hey, oh. Anything?
No. Let me search your name. I'll go ahead on the last one. Come on, people. Oh, there we go. I see it live now. Found it.
Awesome. Okay, so view screen.
Yeah, I can do the same.
Alright, wait.
Can you hear my voice?
I can hear you on the phone, and I can hear myself on the phone.
Alright. Oh man. Okay, so
Okay, so I'm only gonna tell you the epic secrets. I put the mic on mute, so hopefully it's not picking up any voices. Basically, I'm zooming in, right? Now with the time navigator in, I'm gonna grab that from the right side, and once I grab it from the right side, I'm gonna shrink it over so that I'm enlarging like this, basically the whole time map area.
Hello? Hello, hold on.
Yeah.
Oh, no, I can totally still hear myself on the stream.
Oh, wow. Oh, damn.
Yeah.
Betrayal. Oh, just straight up betrayal. Okay. Alright, well, okay, hold on. Let me hang up the phone. and and I'll explain everything on there. Just have a pencil and paper, or just message me in the chat if you have any extra questions.
Yeah.
Alright, bro.
alright, broski. Let me just do a sound check.
Just have a pencil and paper, or just message me in the chat if you have any extra questions.
Yeah.
Alright, bro.
Alright, broski. Let me just do a sound check. Okay, I did my sound check. And alright, so everything is alright so far. What we're looking at here is just, the screen. What I was trying to explain to you is that you want to grab this and shrink it down. Once you shrink it down, you have like, okay, for instance, this is the intro, and the intro runs for this long, but I want this intro to go into the next major scene. This stuff right here, these are effects. Like usually whenever, I'm like close to finishing a comp, like everything else is just gonna be pretty much everywhere. Ignore this. This is just unorganized nonsense. Um, yes, going back to this, just trying to stay on topic here. Um, what I did here was just a simple transition scene where, as you can see, the opacity, or just, yeah, the opacity of this image ended up disappearing, and by the time like it ends over, it's gone, and it's like, okay, boom, I'm in the next scene. So technically, all you need is just a little bit of space from the next scene that you want to transition into to be able to have a smooth transition while both layers are overlapping. So what I did was, if when I opened up this one right here, what I did with this was, all I did was adjust the opacity and the audio levels, because I also wanted the sound to disappear from this first file, and it'll be like a fadeaway sound instead of a hard stop fadeaway. It would just be a smooth fadeaway sound, so that when I go into this video, it's like, just a smooth transition of boom, okay, sound, background music is playing, and me trash talking or whatever the case might be. Now, I would say the overlap, the kind of overlap that you're looking for is probably going to look like this. So, I would say whenever you're just overlapping, just make sure that the beginning of your video that you want to transition to is right under, just by a little bit, just a little bit under the video that you're coming from, or the first video transitioning over to that video. Once you have that intact, what you can do is zoom in by shrinking the time navigator, and once you shrink the time navigator, you have this open, drop down your contents, go into transform, and I would say right where the overlap is, like even if you have to bring this video a little bit closer, so you can have like probably just a pinch, just like a pinch of space, you want to make sure that just, goodness. So what you're gonna do is you go over to where the pinch of it begins, right? So right where this begins, that's where you want to put down your first marker for your opacity. Then right before this ends, that's where you want your second marker for your opacity. And so of course, your first marker of opacity is going to be 100, which is, let me see, let me click this. Yeah, the first marker you have is going to be 100, and your second marker is going to be 0. Stop that. Wait. Well, wait a minute. You're not gonna.
One sec. I'm doing like extra stuff here. Okay, so with that at 100, like I had it end at paragon, so it goes
Damn hard, bro. What you doing, yo?
Another episode kicking it to you right now.
Paragon. Damn hard, bro.
then boom, like skibbity bop bop. Let me stop. So from 100, you have like right at the beginning is at 100, but then right at the end it's gonna be 0. It shouldn't be 4. Definitely not be 4. A beautiful 0. A beautiful 0. That way, the disintegration of the image at 100 the whole time. Oh, this image? This one is at 100 all the time. This one always. Yeah. Yeah, that is definitely always at 100. Because that's the beginning of this video. If the beginning of this video was not at 100, then
we wouldn't even see it. We would probably just transition into like, you know, the background scene of what's behind all of our comps, that weird colored background that we pick. But if I scroll further down, you can see over here I did the same thing kind of, with the opacity changing from 100 to like 0 at the end, of course. But these are this would be like, you know, more of a basic transition. It's repetitious, and you would want to, you know, avoid repetition, but at the same time, I was adding in additional effects from, you know, other green screen effect videos that I manipulated so that it'll help into the transition. Oh, no. Well, for the videos that you have that are tight, the ones that like have that sharp transition from one to another, the way you did that, that's fine. Like that's a style right there. Like that actually works. Like that's okay. Like if you're talking about like when one character is going, like when one character is talking and another one like then it jumps to like another person's perspective and they're talking, like that's okay. Like do not fault yourself for that. That's an actual, like, you know, to the T actual style technique that, like, you know, that is developed and used on other, you know, video platforms and so on and so forth. So that's fine. But like I'm saying, like if you have like, you know, a big scene, like, cuz with me I had these transitions because, you know, I was going from like, you know, something that happened at 2 minutes to like something that happened at like, what is it, like at 12 minutes, you know. So it's like the conversation would not be the same at all whatsoever. But I mean, cause like funny enough, like when Vamp was like saying, "Yo, can someone help me kill this Murdoch?" That literally didn't like Axel did not get a chance to help him out until 12 minutes after. Like a whole 10 minutes went by pretty much. Cause at 2 minutes, like, you know, our jungler was not helping, and Vamp was like, "Yo, like where's our jungler at? Oh my gosh, like can someone kill this Murdoch? This is nonsense." And Axel was like, "I bet, I got you." And like, you know, that's when, like, you know, it went down with the whole wombo combo. Let me see. Oh, okay. From one to wait. Oh, okay. Well, yeah. With that, then you would definitely, you know, work on your spacing at least. But but after you do have your spacing, then like I would say we work on our spacing so that further down the road we're able to overlap the layers like above each other. Like I would say the best example for that is this right here. We work on spacing so that these can overlap each other for smooth transitions. Because what happens here going over to here, this is like a sharp overlap without, you know, a transition effect needed. Because like for this, for what I was wanting to do for this, I was like, okay, I want to cut here, cut here, cut here, because that's like, you know, when I felt like from that long conversation I was adding in like, you know, battle moments. Like boom, this is when Axel was like, yo, where's you at? You need to leave the twin blast. Boom. Like he was like, no, you need to get kills with like we are. Then boom, he goes in, kills the counters. Then boom, he's like, yeah, man, leave the twin blast. Boom. This is when, you know, Vamp was like, you know, getting some crazy kills, and then, you know, running for his life. Then right after that, you know, boom, I'm like, okay, all right. Then all of a sudden, I got destroyed, and then it's like the both of them at the end of this clip, they're like laughing at me. Yeah, but no, like I would say test your hand at it, and it's 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 pretty easy once you get the hang of it, I should say. Um, it just involves just, you know, making sure that you're watching, like, you know, what do you have overlapping one another. But of course, you know, I'm definitely gonna go back and, you know, double check, like, you know, what, just to add like, you know, a peer review or another pair of eyes to look at the content before we actually launch it. But but yeah, like it's not too hard, I would say. It's just getting the hang of the spacing as far as like using the transforms and so on and so forth. But yeah, that was pretty much it. That's all I got, man. That's all I got. Okay, so just doing the opacity is the fade. Now, let's say I wanted to use an actual transition key. Um, from here, what I would do is, let's see here. First, let's zoom in. Zooming in it makes everything just a whole lot better. What I'm gonna do, let's change you to changing that back to 100, right? So now I need to transition from boom to boom, right? Because now it's just gonna, this is what it's gonna end up looking like.
Hard, bro. What you doing, yo? Seriously.
See that? This is
Damn hard, bro. What you doing, yo? Seriously.
that's what you definitely don't want.
Damn hard, bro. What you doing, yo? Seriously.
Now, so let me see. My bad. Group chat. Okay, now the transitions that I would have usually used under effects and presets, I go into animation presets, then I go into transition dissolves, or just any one of these three transitions you can use. But I favor transition dissolves. They just look nice. And the ones that I immediately just float over to is vapor, unmelt, sand, ripple, dither, blobs, the basic stuff. Now, using these, right, what you want to do is once you click on one that you would want to use, you grab it. Okay, let's use dither. You grab it and you drag it over on top of the space that you want to begin that transition, like where you're gonna work your transition out. Once you paste it there, you're gonna notice that you have two circles, and these two circles are going to be linked under effects. So you want to jump into your effects, and then inside effects you want to make sure that you find where the two circles are, and they're under dissolve. So you click on that, and then boom, now you see where they put the two transition things. Now, of course, this will make this entire space over here just longer for you to like scroll up and down, and that makes it so that you're not able to see, the next layer. Something that I like to do is drag this up. So I would move my mouse to this blue line over here, and just drag it upwards, so that I can have a decent amount of space to actually see what the hell I'm doing. I would minimize the noise, the solid comp, and yeah, maybe I can just drag it back down. Because the main thing that you're going to be focusing on, like whenever you just use an effect from here, is first finding where it is in the effects, then drag those two, probably right here, because they have it set so that the transition will happen well. Oh wait, cool. Take your time.
Okay, alright, cool. Alright, so um basically what we do here is we figure out that whenever you do use an effect from here, or something that I've found out, that whenever you grab a transition effect from here, it will sometimes it works backwards. So the best way to find out if it works backwards is if you go, like, as soon as you drag it over, you go over to your first layer, and if it's not showing and all you see is just your background, that means that you have to change this first one to 100%. So what I'm gonna do is I go over to it, click on it, I change it to 100. That way, it's visible. And then I go to the last one, and I change that to 0. And then, with both of them highlighted, I hit F9 so that I can get, like, a smoother transition. Then from here, what the, oh, wait a minute. What is going on? Oh. Okay, that happened because both of them were clicked. I mean, they were highlighted. My bad. Yeah, so one should be 100, the other one should be 0. So you get a smooth, dissolve effect over here. See, so from 100, just keeping your eye on this, from 100 to 0. And that's, pretty much it. The same goes with any of these. If you're using ripple, unmelt, sand, vapor, you're just, transitioning from one layer to another, making sure that the first layer that you have is, starting at 100 at the very end, or right before the very end, I should say. Right before the very end, you want it to start at 100 to maintain, its composition and visuals. And going over to the very end, you want it to go at 0. And wherever you have this transition going from 100 to 0, you can also do the same for the audio. Just make sure that, you have the shift, you shift lock to, like, one time stamp. And wherever this starts, you want your audio to start. And wherever this ends, you want the audio to, like, go into, like, the negatives. Negative 40 is, like, a good transition because it's, like, it's barely hearable, and it just works well as far as, like, transitioning into, like, another full scene. But yeah, that's all I have for now. And you just rinse and repeat with any other transitions scene that you would want to use. But the ones that I've used the most would be, between like all of the dissolves and a few of the movements and wipes, like the whole stretch, the zoom, bubble, fly, wipes, clock, iris, all this extra stuff. I've used it. But the ones that I just started off using would be like, the dissolves, because I felt like, I just needed it to be away, and, so I can see the next one. And that's what I was able to do. Yeah, man, no problem. Definitely test your hand, because, I mean, you've definitely done a lot so far. But, yeah. Yeah, if you need anything, again, hit me up, and I'll do another live chat, or link up on the phone, whatever you need. And I get at you. Paragon.